I'm going to talk to you today about big growth on a small budget. My name is Richard Easties from Vroom Vroom Vroom. We compare car rental prices. Started with no staff, no marketing experience, no marketing budget, hardly any money, and we were making around $200 in sales a day in a bedroom at my parents' house. Today, about 7 years on, we make around $200,000 in sales each day. This entire time was with a very minimal marketing budget. How did we do it? Word of mouth. I'm not going to tell you how important it is because you already know it is, but it really was the only way we could do it. And I didn't know why, so I thought, well, why do I talk about other companies? Why do I talk about your company? And if I can answer those questions, I thought maybe I can help it out for us. I will talk about you if it makes me feel smart. Someone sent me something funny, I'm going to share that with someone because I'm going to laugh a lot louder when I'm laughing with you. If I'm employed to talk about you, I'm going to talk about you or I'm going to get fired. And I might talk about you if you're going to pay me a commission like an affiliate program online. If you give me a bad experience, you rip me off, I want your company to lose out. I want to get the satisfaction of sweet revenge. If I help a friend out, I feel good about myself. So I'm going to share something if I think it's going to help them, and that makes me feel good. And at Christmas time, we like to give each other presents because it's exciting. You like seeing the look on their face when they open something up and the anticipation of doing that. And I feel like that same feeling happens when you want to share an experience that you've had that was positive for the company. When you tell a friend, it's kind of like a little bit of it feels like you've helped share that experience with them again. We also focused on the last one to excite their friends and create what otherwise could be a boring experience and try to make it a bit more exciting so that there might be a reason for them to tell their friends about you. And I just want to talk more about that. And there's something in common with all of those things, and that is they're about me and not about the person I'm talking about. So being the first to market was a very good reason for people to talk about us because it made them feel smart when sharing an idea. But what happens when it's a few years down the track and it's not really worth talking about? When people stop talking about you, it's time to adapt the product. And we did that in a few ways by always making sure we were the easiest product to use, easiest way to book a car. I've seen a little bit of a disconnect between marketers and the big boss man. And in today's society, I think that the big boss man, the guy creating the product and directing the company in the direction that it should be going, he needs to be a marketer as well. Because if the marketer's been stuck with a product that people don't talk about, regardless of having a small budget or a big budget, it's not going to work. The marketer needs to be able to sell a product that is also going to be worthy of being talked about. How did Vroom 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 do that? The one thing that we could do was exceed their expectations. And when their expectations were exceeded, we figured they're going to have a very positive feeling and that's worthy of telling their friends about it. Luckily, with exceeding expectations, it's very simple and very cheap. It doesn't really require much effort. So we're all about that. Well, I was anyway, so let's focus on intentionally exceeding expectations. The simplest way is to offer the same product but hold something back at the end. Don't tell them you're going to give them a free cupcake. Just give them the free cupcake. I mean, if you put a sign out the front and the customer's saying, and it then says, a free cupcake with every coffee, you might miss out on some people's business because that was their purpose of buying coffee. But in my opinion, holding that back and giving them the free cupcake without their expectation of it, it gives them a reason to go and tell all their friends, oh wow, they gave me a free cupcake with my coffee today. Lollipops and rah-rah, I'd like to give two other examples. When I was learning to drive, a long time ago, my driving instructor was about to sell his company. He had experienced very fast growth, and I was like, well, I was interested in business and learning about it. And I said, oh, how did you do that when all these other companies aren't? What can you do different? And he said, well, look, all I did differently was I sent every customer a lollipop in a letter, in a week after I drove with them, and he said it's not much, it cost me 50 cents or whatever, and he said I can without a doubt say that that's what made me millions of dollars. Rah 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 is probably one of my favourites. I was in Las Vegas and I was taken to a Mexican fast food restaurant. They won 50 awards last year, some of which for fast growth and being America's fastest growing private company. And I was like, how do they do that when there's already a Mexican restaurant in every corner? And anyway, I soon found out. I ordered my meal, and it's kind of like Subway, kind of production line, but about 4 times bigger. And they asked me, oh, is this your first time here? And I said, yeah, first time. And all of a sudden he put his head in the air and yelled out something in Spanish. And every employee, the dishwashers, the attendants making food, and himself, all yelled out, rah, rah, rah! And they're like, whoa, that was really unexpected. And it cost them 0 cents. And I had a big smile on my face, and I was very excited. I went and told all my friends and took them along because I wanted them to have that same experience. So what did Vroom 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 do to help exceed customer expectations? I tried, when Twitter came out, and I started using it a few years ago, I thought, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go on Twitter, and everyone's going to think we're fantastic. We're going to do customer service on there. But when we tried to put some promotions on Twitter, but it was like, oh, that's embarrassing. So Travel Mugs was a big win for us. We bought thousands and thousands of high-quality stainless steel travel mugs. And we don't just send them to everyone. We send them to 2 types of customers. First customer being one that was given a less than optimal experience by the current suppliers. Not our responsibility, but we do feel like they want us to come back to them, and we do want to protect the reputation of our partners. So instead of them going through the painstaking process of 3 weeks wait with the complaint that never gets resolved with the current suppliers, we took the matters into our own hands, sent them money to compensate them, and most of the time a stainless steel travel mug turned a bad situation into a very positive one that was worthy of them telling their friends, because it just created that element of trust. We also sent them to customers that already had something nice to say about us. Send us an email, a thank you, or even a thank you over the phone. And when they already like us, and we send them at random, we don't tell them we're going to send it to them, we just send it, and they receive it that day, and they are always blown away. And I'm sorry I don't have specific data on how that has helped, but I can tell just from gut instinct, talking to customers, that it has been one of our great success stories. I also, at Easter time, with my brother David, we turned up to the offices of What If with 2 dozen coffee mugs filled with Easter eggs, and we handed them out to all the What If call centre staff. And we did that because we knew that 1 or 2 of them were suggesting to their customers while they made booking over the phone that they booked their car with Vroom Vroom Vroom. So we thought, well, let's roll with that, and all of a sudden we had a lot of the call centre staff recommend that they use Vroom 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 to book their car. I know that's not exceeding customer expectations, but that was all part of it. We spent $130,000 on radio ads, and I'm not saying radio is a bad medium to be advertising, but in our situation, it failed. Versus $10,000 the following year in an experiment to exceed customer expectations, where the customer service staff were given a budget to spend on customers that they feel were deserving of it, need to be compensated, or surprise free current when they were in need. And this really helped people talking about us as well. The customer service staff, because we didn't make much money over phone bookings, we thought, well, let's treat it as a way to get people to like us more. So the customer service staff had free range to chat about whatever they want with the customers, and just do crazy things to please them. I think we bought someone a baby seat and took it to them at the airport because they ran out of baby seats at the airport one day. Popular advertising mediums, which Google now is, seems to suck when people aren't also talking about you. So Television, I heard, experienced that. At the start, if you put an ad on TV, you were going to make a lot of money, regardless of people talking about you or not. But once the medium gets flooded, just like AdWords is now, those companies are worthy of talking about are the ones that are going to benefit most. So the best way to get links, we use telephone call to make friends with people, real business relationships, networking events. Is anyone here from the travel industry? Oh great, well we should chat later and maybe we can sort something out. And you guys should chat later as well, just in case. And if you're not on Google Places yet and you have an address at your business, it's like not having a website 5 years ago. It took me many years to get it just right, and I found the size of the emails proportionate to the response rate. And I found this in all the emails I sent to my business colleagues, to my employees. I found the shorter my email to them, the higher the chance that I'll get an instant response, but also a response at all sometimes. And my next slide is one of those emails that I sent to current companies in New Zealand to negotiate a mutual exchange of articles or travel content with them. Guerrilla market research. This is going to be fun. Who here washes their hands when they go to the bathroom? It's about, yeah, alright. So it's about 99% of people say they wash their hands when they go to the bathroom, but only 75% of people wash their hands. People lie. We needed to find out what gets people's emotions going in the current industry. And I need a volunteer who does a lot of lying. Oh yeah, come on up please. This is just a really quick market research exercise. It's Cosmopolitan magazine. I'm not a subscriber, but what I have done, I've printed out 4 logos of airlines. We've got Tiger Airways, we have Qantas, and we have Virgin Blue and Jetstar. And I've got some photos ripped out for the magazine of people. There's an old lady and a businessman and a hot chick and a cowboy. I'd like you to match up a face with one of the airlines. So yeah, each airline will need one face. So we have Qantas, is an old lady. Oh, not that old. Grey hair. I found it's very easy for humans to connect a person's face with a feeling that they get about a company, which is very, very difficult to do by asking multiple choice questions. We have Virgin Blue with a girl with his hair, Tiger Airways with a cowboy, and Jetstar with which one? With a girl in a cute little skirt. Thank you. This worked really well for us. We use this technique to work out that the most emotional thing that people have about car rental is hidden fees. And once we've got that market research, we use that and we made our website all about no hidden fees. I'm not going to start karaoke with that Daydream Believer song, but this is kind of a weird thing to finish up with. I'm a big believer in daydreaming. To me, it's a secret weapon. And I use it to adapt. So what do I daydream about? The most important one was what I shouldn't be doing. We spend all day worrying about what we should be doing in marketing and anything, and that's stopping us from doing things that we should be doing. And so I try to do it at least 15 minutes to half an hour a day. At the office though, if it's a big office, it might be difficult because they're like, you're sleeping. But if people know that that's what you're doing, then I might be right. Do it at home. Final thing is, in my opinion, a small budget is all you need. And if your knickknacks can't be sold on a small budget, then it's time to adapt the knickknacks.